And good afternoon, everybody. It's 1 o'clock on Tuesday, May the 12th. I'm John Russell. I am stuck at home today with my good friend, Kevin Saha. Good afternoon, Kevin.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. For those of you who do not know Kevin, Kevin is a comedian who has traveled around the upper Midwest and other parts of the U.S. He is also a writer. He is also a producer of shows, and he is also the co-founder of the Cuckoo's Nest Comedy Club in Wausau, Wisconsin. So very adept at the comedy world and everything that makes the comedy world tick, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I
Yeah.
still have to reach the higher rungs of way
Well,
up
we all do.
executives, but
We all do. We all do. I mean, once you're the executive producer of something,
yeah, then
yeah.
I'll
But
have it all. But yeah,
you'll have it all. You and I, the last time that you and I got to work together was New Year's Eve in Eau Claire,
yeah.
and that was a great deal of fun. Appreciated doing that with you.
Yeah,
You, I, and Marc Poulos, and to be honest, that's a pretty damn good lineup.
that was a really good night. Yeah, it was fun.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, how have you been holding up? No, so you're a married fella, and
Yep.
you've got two daughters.
3.
And so, how have you all been holding up together?
Well, I have 3 daughters, but my oldest
3.
has Crohn's, so she stayed with us for a while because the drugs that she was taking lowers her immune system, so that was kind of a big thing. So
Oh, sure.
she was with us for a while, but she's 21, so she was getting kind of stir crazy, so she went back to her apartment. But other than that, yeah, we've been hanging out. My wife's still working from home, so still supporting the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
good to have a
good.
sugar mama.
That's good. That's good. Gotta love that.
But yeah, other than going up for some short hikes and avoiding people, the funny thing is I found that other than like all my comedy gigs canceling,
Mm-hmm.
my life really hasn't changed. Like I'm just this uncool. I'm always home, like not doing anything. Like I barely did anything. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
now I live in Lakeville in the Minneapolis and Twin Cities area. You do too, but you're out a little bit. You're over in River Falls, Wisconsin. Is it
yeah.
a little bit different in terms of how people behave over in Wisconsin? Not necessarily Wisconsin, but the fact that you're not exactly right in the city.
From what I've seen, like I'd say it's split. There's people with face masks and there's people that don't have face masks, and I don't know if there's a lot of people that I don't want to say like they don't believe that this is a thing, but I don't know. It's just they show up and get right kind of close to everybody, and that's like kind of disturbing. But
Have you had to call anybody out about being too close to you?
no, because I don't go out that much,
So
So
do you do the shopping or does your wife?
I am doing the shopping. So I go out, get all geared up, and I think the reason I do the shopping is because I go in, I know what I'm supposed to get. I just go get the thing, and I'm out. Like my wife tends to mingle
Uh-huh.
and read labels.
Well, that's
That's
important.
time we don't have. That's
So do you go early in the morning? Do you go late at night?
I tend to go early in the morning,
Yeah,
and I just get all the elderly people who do have masks. So it's pretty much.
absolutely. Absolutely. So Kevin, other than of course our wonderful show on New Year's Eve, do you recall what the last show you did was before all of this shutdown happened?
I did Bismarck. I was in Bismarck. I
Oh,
wasn't sure if that was going to even happen. So I remember I had because I did it with Nathan Timmel,
oh
and
yeah.
I messaged him to see if it was still going on. He wasn't sure. We tried getting a hold of them, and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna do it." So we drove 6, 7 hours. I drove 7 hours to Bismarck and did the show. It was sold out, and
Yeah.
that was hi John.
John
Um,
Bush, awesome to see you, my friend.
and it was kind of it was towards the end of February, I think it was. So
Hmm.
everything was just kind of still. We didn't know what was happening, so seeing like 250 people in the rooms, it's like you don't know what, are we supposed to be doing this? You almost felt it was like taboo, like we're doing something bad,
Yeah. Well, North Dakota never did shut down.
Yeah, they didn't. But
so you'd have been safe. I mean, they did something. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be doing that show today with that many people. Just did a Zoom show with Nathan Timmel. That's awesome.
oh,
See, we're all interconnected. Yeah,
we are.
all interconnected. So, but February was the last one that you did.
Yeah, it was mid-February. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because my last one was March 13th, and to be honest, I didn't even give it a thought. It was they were talking about it, but I just didn't even give it a thought. Look, there's my sister Laura. Oh my gosh, Laura, I hope you're doing well. You guys, please keep Laura and her husband Mike in your prayers. Mike is in the hospital right now with non-COVID related pneumonia. So he's got some fluid in his lungs. So please, if you do that kind of thing, and best wishes to you, my sister. I mean, it's, and I'm just going to bring this up. I don't want to get off the track with you, Kevin, but it's funny because some people, they're doing stuff. My sister Laura works in Urbandale, Iowa, for UCAN, which is the Urbandale Community Action Network. And what they're doing now during all of this is they're raising food. They're distributing food, and that in the Urbandale, Iowa area. And so on top of her organizing all of this, because she's the director, she's also got her husband that's now in the hospital, and he is intubated. So yes, I would love some chips. Send them on up. I saw that. Yeah, got us on truckload. I saw it. Okay, Laura, don't hijack the show. If you want to come on the show, Laura, sometime, I would be more than happy to have you come on and talk about everything you're doing. And I'm serious about that.
But she has chips. So
I know she has chips, but they're down in Des Moines, Iowa. How are they going to get up here? Yeah, there's our pal David. He loves the chips. We know that. We can tell. My God, David, Rox Tarrant sent pictures because she's going to be on with me on Friday. She sent a picture, and I thought, how'd David Harris get his head on that skinny kid? So we'll see that on Friday. The chips are down. No, they're not down. Yeah, she's on chip overload. Perfect. All right. So
I think everybody just wants chips. I think we might as well just start talking about what's your favorite chips.
Well, Kevin, come to think of it, what is your favorite chip if you were to have a chip?
Oh, that's a tough one. I was with Sun Chips for a while.
Doritos Family Guys for David. Denny Ryan likes chips.
Yeah, I would say Doritos are up there too. Yeah, but I would say not nacho cheese. I'm gonna go Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch, you like the Cool Ranch? Okay, so for me, Doritos. If I'm going to go Doritos, which I'm not necessarily, because I am a kettle chips guy, okay. and some people might think, oh, you're going to go with the national brand, those Lay's kettle thingies. No, I don't go with the Lay's. I go with the hometown. Is it Old Home or is it Dutch Mill or whatever what's the Dutch one? What's the Dutch? Old Dutch. That's
Old Dutch. Yes.
I go with the Old Dutch, Parmesan and garlic kettle chips. Those are the best flipping chips you ever had in your life.
I like kettle
Andy's fancy. He likes Trader Joe's truffle chips. That's because he has a paying job. Ben Marcotte just loves chips as well. Denny Ryan, yes, you can just talk to my sister. She'll throw some chips your way. I do not, David. I do not like dill pickle chips, and I do not like salt and pepper chips. So you, sir, are a liar. Donnie Lucifer. Good morning, Donnie. Looking in from Twitch. Happy to have you there with us, my friend. Dan, we're talking about cops on motorcycles. Exactly. I prefer mine punch flavored. Don't spit out your water. Pringles are the best. Donnie is a Pringles man.
Pringles are good. I'll do Pringles.
No, I also don't like cow chips. Oh my God, this has already gotten so out of control, Kevin.
It did, yeah. I think everybody's just...
Everybody's antsy. You can't see Ben's comments because he's probably commenting on a different thing. But if you're watching the video, they'll pop up here. Because David, you know this. I am broadcasting now with Kevin Saha. Right now, we're broadcasting on the Facebook page of Goonies Comedy Club. We're broadcasting on my own page. We're broadcasting on YouTube, John Russell's channel, which is not very highly followed. We're broadcasting on Twitter, Twitch, and we're also broadcasting where Donnie Lucifer's watching us on Twitch.
All over.
And Andy Fisher would like us to do cookies next. We'll hold on. We're gonna talk a little bit to Kevin about Kevin before we start talking about more food, because otherwise this could be just a goddamn food show, right? Okay, David would like you to get up closer. He'd like to see your house. Slide it on up there, baby. Yeah. Well, okay, we won't do that again.
I'll get a little closer, David. There. How's this?
Just for him. All right. So let's start your path in comedy. When you started doing comedy, what possessed you to think, hey, I should give this a try?
I think in high school I always wanted to do it. But at the same time I didn't know how to do it, small town. So years later I started bartending at this place that did comedy every Friday. And I watched the comics, and a couple of them would say, hey, why don't you give it a shot? Never wanted to do it because I'm like, I'm not sure if I can. And until they got let go of the karaoke guy that was doing the emceeing, which then made somebody had introduced. So I was like, all right, this is my chance. I could probably give this a shot. And I went up on stage and ate it. So, this is the thing, is like, I've never done comedy at that moment. And I went in front of a full, sold out paid room to try it.
Oh my.
First time. No open mics. I mean, it was like, let's just jump in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I think every week I would talk to the comics and say, how do I do this better? How do I do I think I'm funny. I just don't know how to relate this. And I think it was stage presence, all that. I had to learn all that. And I did it every week. I agreed to do it every week. And I would say 2 weeks in, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But finally I got my first laugh, and I'm like, this actually feels pretty good. I like doing this. And then
it only took you 2 weeks though.
Yeah, right. 2 weeks to get a laugh. And then when I did, I had all my jokes written, and I don't know time, because I mean, I would get my first joke, and if I'm bombing, it feels like I'm up there for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
So I get my first laugh, and that was my first joke. And I was maybe 10 seconds into the set. And after I got the laugh, I'm like, that's all I had. I did a kind of Costanza thing. And hey, that's my time. Thank you. All right.
Gosh. So from there, so how do you make the leap from that 2 week point where you're hosting karaoke and getting and just really working hard to get a laugh, to the fact that you and Dave Brula open up a comedy club?
Well, Dave, and that was the reason I got Dave involved, was because I hated emceeing so much, and I asked him to do it every other week. So we would take back and forth.
Nope, you're not.
But we would take turns every other week, so I'd at least get a week off. I always thought that his jokes were better than mine. He thought mine were better than his, and we both just kept working with each other. And I think eventually we wanted to start the thing, and the place that we did it was in Best Western in Wausau.
Mm-hmm.
That was where, we built that room up, kind of, and then they didn't want to do it. They wanted to save money, so they wanted to get rid of comedy. They thought that was going to save, even though it was sold out room every week. So we decided to take it. We talked to Funny Business and talked to John, and he was kind of a little bit reluctant to hand over the reins to two people, but that didn't have an actual business.
Yeah.
So we took it off and put all of what we had into it.
Yep. Is there? Do you know now? You've been over here in the Twin Cities area for several years. Do you know? Yeah. Is there comedy going on regularly in Wausau right now, or?
Not that now obviously not, but no, I think Dave called it a couple years ago or last year.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I don't think much is going on. I think there's some ones that pop up here and there, but
Yeah, I know. Luke Borkhardt has booked a couple of shows at a couple of different places out there.
Yeah,
But
Marshfield.
they're just kind of little one-offers,
Yeah.
or once a year, twice a year kind of things.
Well, I mean, we tried to. I think we tried doing the weekly, and it worked, but at the same time, it was a lot of work to get people in there every week. I mean,
Oh yeah,
a lot of, and the other thing that I think the issue we had was we got summer coming up, and then everybody's going to the lake, and then you're trying to get people out there, and they're like, "Oh, I'll hit it. I'll watch it. Some other time. I'll come another time." And then 3 months later, they still haven't showed up, and it's just like, you know what? We're gonna have to shut down if you guys don't show up. Like, I mean, it's like
yeah.
always saying, "I'll make it next time." That doesn't help us. If everybody's saying that, we're gonna go out.
And that's one of the hard things in that area. I mean, Wausau's actually pretty big when you put all the towns in that area together. It's actually a pretty big metro area.
It is, yeah. Although the
and-
other thing too is I want to say is we did it the Best Western, and when we moved Cuckoo's Nest to Rib Mountain, which was only, I would say, a 10-minute drive on the
Yeah.
highway, and I told people in Rib Mountain, like, hey, we got the show. It's in Weston now or whatever, so
Yeah.
it's 10 minutes away, and they're like, it's a ways. Like, they wouldn't even take the 10-minute drive.
10 minutes is hard when you're
Yeah,
used to not,
10 minutes.
5 minutes to the store, man. That's all you want to do.
Yeah.
So when you were running that club, who was the biggest act that you had in there?
The first big, or actually named act that we had was Screech or Dustin Diamond.
Oh yeah.
We took that and gave a shot. We both, I don't think we even had the money technically to actually book them. We just said, I'm sure we'll fill this. So we booked them, and we didn't have to pay ahead of time, but at the same time, a blizzard came through that night, and we were just freaking out because we're like, I don't know if people are going to show up, but a lot of people prepaid, and we actually sold it out. We had people standing.
Oh my gosh.
Back. So that was the first one that we actually risked having a name.
Yeah.
And it paid off. But no, we booked Pauly Shore. Did that. We did 2 nights. I did that in my hometown of Anigo.
Yeah.
And then we did another one in Wausau. But the club was kind of in like a middle period. Like we weren't doing it, but we were kind of.
Gotcha.
So we booked Pauly Shore, but then I think he came back. Dave brought him back a couple years later.
And you were actually in that Showtime documentary that Pauly Shore did, weren't you?
I guess I was, yeah. I still have not seen it.
Dude, your actual name is on it. So here's the thing. I am on it for 6 seconds. And of course, I'm uncredited. So thanks, Pauly.
Yeah.
I feel like I should. I don't know what your experience was with him, but mine was not good.
Mine was. I think it was different because I was producing
Sure.
shows, so I think he at least gave me a scotch of respect. But
yeah,
yeah, he would ask me about the kid or my kids, and then like when I would start answering, he would totally like look away and not even listen to the answer. And it's like, well, you don't pretend to be nice.
Yeah.
Just if you really want to know about my kids, great. If you don't ask. So it was like halfway through I'm like, I realize you don't care. So, all right, whatever.
Yes or no, and no is okay.
And both of those shows I did. We had like 500 people for the first show, and I think it was closer to 6 for the second show. I did amazing. And they never put that, from what I heard, they didn't put that on that show at all. I mean, it was like laughed. I mean, like applause breaks, everything was, but I don't think any of my material made it.
No, and let's be honest, that whole thing was about him.
No, it was, and I get it, but
sure.
It'd be nice to,
No, I know. Yeah. I have my own opinion. I'll just keep it to myself for the time being.
What happened with?
Well, I mean, it was just the whole setup, and I don't even care about his documentary. I mean, I really don't. It's nice. I saw myself on there, and I was like, oh wow, that's something. But the first, so we did 4 shows at New Hope, and I was hosting for him, opening for him. Once we started the show, he wasn't even in the building yet.
Nice.
I mean, I was done with my set and I had to go find him in the darkened room and ask him what he wanted to have, for an introduction.
Nice.
It was gigantically half-assed. And then he had his camera guy with him, and he just had the one camera guy. And
I thought he had two cameras. Oh no, he had another guy. He had two guys, but
he had two guys. Well, I
Yeah.
think only one guy was running the
one
camera.
guy with the camera.
So, and the thing about it is, he had all these people, and he's got a ton of fans. People love his movies.
Yeah.
They're silly, they're funny, and a lot of people love him, and a lot of people grew up with the Weasel.
Yeah.
And so after the first show, he went directly back into the green room and sat there.
Yeah.
Didn't come out. And but he's got all of his merch out at the front, and he's got people from New Hope selling it, but he didn't go out there. And then after the last show on Friday, he was literally gone and out of the building before I got off stage doing the announcements at the end. Which is fine. Yeah, I'm sure he watches this. I'm 100% positive he watches this. He wouldn't even do Goonies when he was doing this business because it wasn't big enough for him. So he went and did a show down at the Crooked Moose or the Wicked Moose or whatever. A Crooked Moose, Wicked Moose. I don't know. He went to the Moose.
My daughter's birthday was one of those days, and he actually called my daughter because she knew Biodome is what son-in-law. She watched Son-in-Law.
Yeah.
So he actually called her and wished her happy birthday.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
I mean, he does, but he had Ellie Nick come with him one night, and but then on Saturday between the shows, he went out and hung out with everybody that wanted merch and were pictures and signing, and he was doing all that, and but he did it because the camera was there.
See, and I think when I did the show in Anigo with him, we were trying to keep people away from him because they just flocked. And I think there was a woman that dropped her pants to get him to sign her ass. I can't remember what happened. It was just he was very standoffish after that point. Was just like, okay, you guys are crazy, but that's Anigo. Yeah. And the woman was obviously drunk, and so maybe after that he was like, okay, I'm not doing the whole getting back into the crowd thing.
Yeah. Well, he did it for the cameras, and then on the last show again on Saturday, he was gone and out of the building before I was off.
Yeah.
And then the sad part about it is there's all these people that brought all their Pauly Shore crap to have him sign it, and he's nowhere to be found. He's not. No.
That was crazy. People had VHS tapes and
laser discs.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, it's like I know everybody has their thing, and I know, but honestly, he was the most standoffish person that I personally ever worked with doing stand up.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say for me too.
Yeah. And part of that might be his upbringing and the fact that he's just exposed to everything all the time. But anyway, all right. So enough about him. That was not what this is supposed to be about.
Pauly Shore. That's what this is all about.
Oh my God! So where was the first room you got to feature at, other than your own?
The first feature spot I got, Wild Bill gave me that one. Glencoe, Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
New Year's Eve with Craig Allen.
Oh God, I bet that was fun.
It was cold. It was very cold. I see now Wisconsin's cold. I was in central Wisconsin at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that once you get past Minneapolis and head west, it's wind chill is just, so it was 30 below and the wind was just blowing, and we got the hotel and I went and did the show, and I remember I asked for a beer, and I like dark beer. So I said, what's the darkest beer you have? And the guy goes, MGD. I'm like, okay, it's this kind of place. All right.
He was thinking the label.
Yeah. So I had an MGD. I remember that. But yeah, I remember. Bill gave me that. That was my first paid feature spot. He's the one that got me started, and then he started featuring me or bringing me along with him every once in a while. And
yeah, it wasn't David.
Who?
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And Wild Bill gave so many people their crack and their first shot at stuff, which is awesome because it's something that ties all of us that do comedy together. All right, so you move along, you progress. Where is your first headline set?
First headline set, I believe, with Dublin's.
Up in Duluth.
I think it was.
Yeah, very nice. A nice room.
I don't remember exactly. I think it was Dublin's.
Well, you don't know. Geez, what kind of a comic are you, man?
I guess it doesn't stand out as much. I don't know. I don't know why.
So did you find when you went from feature to headliner that the transition was difficult, or was it pretty easy for you?
No, it wasn't a difficult. I think I was doing a lot of corporates too. So I mean, I don't know if I think that's where. So I was already doing corporates, doing 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
With that, but granted, that was a lot of crowd work that I did. But when I started headlining, it didn't seem much different. I just kind of stretched out what I had. I already had enough material, so
yeah. And at Dublin's, to be honest, I mean, that's such a hot room that it's very rare that you get through all your material anyway.
Right, and that's a lot of crowd work. I think every time I go there, it's like mostly crowd work. It just somebody interrupts or says something, or
I usually end up having to cut out about 10 minutes of stuff when I work up there, because it's just, I mean, there's so much laughing, and it's long, and they don't stop quickly like they do in some places.
Yeah. So. Well, it's pretty intimate too. I remember the first time I did it featuring there, the tables are like right, almost touching your knees. It feels like they're like right there. So it was like, I almost at first felt like, okay, you guys are too close, like, because you're looking at my nose pretty much. It's just
Yeah.
But being that close, like, it's so easy to hear somebody comment about that joke, like, oh, that's something you do, and then they, or whatever, and you can hear that. So then it's just you can start. And that's where my crowd, I just go into the crowd, and then it's done,
Yeah. I talked about, the big news was they used to have a Spur gas station that had over in Superior that apparently had the best fried chicken, and it was closing. Chicken Spur. And I said, Chicken Spur. And so it just became a whole thing. It was 10 minutes of me talking about the Chicken Spur, and and people are like, oh yeah, they got great French fries too. And it's like, well, if they got great French fries, why do they call it Chicken Spur? Why do they call it French fry spur? And the whole stupid idiot thing. And they all loved it because it's local and it means you paid attention to them.
Yeah.
So
Duluth is because if I could say that I'm from Wisconsin, so now it's like I get like a 50-50. Some people are from Wisconsin. Yeah. Like, see, people in Duluth don't hate Wisconsin as much as the rest of Minnesota do. So
right.
It's like, so I don't get booed and I don't get people yelling Packer stuff at me. So Duluth was always kind of fun to do. It's like I can relate pretty well with them.
Absolutely. All right. So one of the questions that I like to ask people, and you've been doing this long enough now that you've probably got a few of these. What would you say, my friend, is your most memorable hell gig?
Memorable gig. All right. I would say the worst one that I had was I got booked. It was supposedly supposed to be a small group. It was a corporate. Somebody called me that I knew that, like, hey, can you do this? It's like, it only pays like $300. But they want an hour. It's like 25 people. So I showed up with another comic, John Mile II, and we showed up, and we walk in and it says, welcome class of 1968.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, that's weird. So I thought maybe this place has something else going on in a different room. And we walk in, and there's 200 people from the class of 1968. And so I walked up to the woman that kind of booked us through the venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, all right, well, what time do you want us to go on? I guess I should have got more info. I thought this was going to be smaller. And she goes, yeah, they don't know that we're doing comedy. I think it'd be funny if you just go up.
Oh, God.
And just start. And then I think that'll be fun. And I'm like, that's a horrible idea. Like you need to tell them. And she didn't want to. And finally we convinced her to at least say, hey, I booked a comedian or two comedians. Here they are. So John went up first, and I think he made it 10 minutes in and realized that they weren't listening at all. So I went up shortly after him, and I think I got about 5 minutes in, and the woman just looked up at me, and I was mid joke, and she's just like, "We're good. You can be done." And I was like, "Okay." And she handed me the check, and we left. I would say that was probably my worst. That was probably the worst.
That sounds like there we go. There we go. I'm back. That sounds like an absolutely atrocious way to make $300.
Yeah. Well, and I split it with John, so I mean,
Oh yeah,
150.
perfect. All right, here I'm gonna pop this question from Carol, who watches us every day. Your experience with an annoying laugh from one person in the crowd.
I guess I never really. It doesn't bother me. Like usually, if I hear somebody have like an annoying laugh, I won't probably call them out or make fun of them, but I mean, I don't really. I don't know. I tend to just kind of. Everybody has different ways of laughter, you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you've got someone who laughs, and it's not necessarily annoying, but it stands out, and they laugh in a way that, as they're laughing, people start laughing at their laugh.
Yeah.
You know, it's not annoying, really.
It's not annoying, but it's disruptive a little bit. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it gives you another reason, like you said, it brings the crowd together because now it's a small inside joke in this room, you know. I would say the thing that annoys me the most is seeing people on their phones. That is my number one pet peeve. And I try my best not to call people out on it, but I mean, you're up there for 45 minutes. It just starts coming, it boils over. People Facebook or whatever they're doing, I could see their face, and it's like,
yeah,
that's my number one.
There's Large Marge. He'd like to know what your strangest gig was.
Strangest gig. It's probably still that 1968.
Class of '68.
That was the oddest, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty odd. I've had so many odd ones. I can't narrow it down to one, but I can tell you one that I did, and I'll probably be talking about this tomorrow with Corey Adam. Corey Adam and I did a show in Wisconsin on the front porch of a farmhouse. The barn was off and we did it out to the audience for somebody's 40th birthday party, I think it was, and they were all sitting on the lawn. It was just the weirdest damn thing.
Huh.
The wife had hired a helicopter to give people rides, and so that was going on. It was like a 3-ring circus. It really was.
I would say another. Have you used down to writer follower? I have.
You know, it's funny because I was going to ask you about this.
Oh, well.
I
do have to like. I did a show in a boat. I think it's a boathouse in Wapaka.
Oh my!
It wasn't weird. I mean, it was set up really well. The lake was right there. It was in the summer, and when the boats were going up and down on pontoons, I mean, it was pretty cool. But it was down in Wapaka, and I took the family to Wisconsin Dells the week or the couple days before, and I got sunburn all on my face and on my forehead, which thing I didn't realize. I didn't know that this happens, but if you get sunburn on your forehead really bad, it can swell up.
Oh,
which it did. And I was trying to wear a hat because I always wear the hat. I mean, but I could go without it now. But at the time I put it on, and I could feel my pulse in my forehead the whole time, like as I did that show.
That sounds terrible.
The show went well. I mean, everybody laughed. It was a good show, but I mean, in a boathouse, I thought that was kind of odd. But
pulsating head is pretty weird.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things, and we'll go back to Dan's question here. About downtime and what you're doing. One of the things that happened to you and I was that we had come up with and honestly, it was your idea, and I'm just riding the coattails. But the idea of the Flyover Comedy Project that we were going to do, and we had everything set up. Today is what we still would have been doing shows right now, right? But you had a really nice venue in Cannon Falls that was going to allow us to record shows there, and we were going to record them very similar to Comedy on the Road or something like that, where everybody does more than they need to time wise, but then we were going to edit it down and make them into 30-second show or 30-minute shows. And then we were going to publish them. Unfortunately, and we had a lot of great comics for that too. We had Chris Barnes, we had Mike Marvell lined up, we had Wendy Mayberry lined up. Gosh, I can't remember. I can't think of the whole list. A ton of awesome features, a ton of people that watch us here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of this pandemic, that all went away.
Yeah.
We still hope to do it someday.
No, and I talked to them. They're more than willing to set it up. I just, we don't know when we can set it up again.
Yeah, yeah. So that was unfortunate. But you've got another project that you're working on. And I don't know how much you want to reveal of it, but I think it's pretty cool.
No, I'm just, the time that I've been just spending, I'm just writing scripts. I guess, I mean, ideally is I'm going to start shooting possibly a more independent, lower budget movie. So I've been writing scripts like nonstop as this has been going on. Because the thing, I can't control anything going on outside. I mean, my gig's canceled. I can't book anything or really line anything up. So I don't do much on social media. So it's like, what can I do to kind of get around the social media? Because I'm not a fan of it. So
yeah,
that was my idea. Is I'm just going to start writing scripts. I'm just going to start taking it different path. So I have been doing a lot of writing, a lot of different. The movie idea is kind of more spoofish. So
yeah, that's one of the things too that we talked about. I think when I was talking with you about it before. I think I think what's really important for comedians and performers right now is easy it is to kind of sit there and do nothing. It's really important to find a way to adapt and do something. Anything you gotta keep moving forward, even though there's no real light at the end of the tunnel as to what you're doing, and what you're doing might not lead to anything. And I don't mean that to you or to me or to anybody, but we just have to find some other way to let our creativity out, and just to keep our minds active.
Yeah, and I figured too, doing this. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with it? If it does well, if it doesn't do well, but at the same time, what is it? I think we're all trying to get stuff out there. So
yeah. And the other part is, what does it hurt if nobody watches it? Nothing.
Yeah.
You did something. It's cool, and it's like I still to this day, Marc Poulos and I did a scripted podcast, kind of radio play business.
Yeah.
And we did that 2 years ago, and people still don't. It's like, we don't want to listen to it. And I'm like, it's okay. I mean, because initially when we were doing it, we thought, gosh, if we could just get somebody to listen to this, we might be able to make a web series at the very least out of it. But we were not in the spot that we can do anything other than audio.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that's difficult is you don't have the funds to do a project, right? Yeah. Whereas with everything becoming easier and easier. 2 years ago we couldn't do it. Today we could have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the old story, the Impractical Jokers, who are absolutely huge right now. They recorded their pilot for that TV show on their phones.
Yeah.
So it's important to realize you don't have to have the best equipment to do something.
Yeah.
Just keep doing something.
Well, and I think that's the thing too, is I think part of me felt like, I think a lot of comics, we just sit back waiting for that one person that's going to give us a break or give us something. But I think we just have to do it. I mean, I don't know if these, if people are ever going to come to. Honestly, like the amount of social media stuff I do, I don't have the fan base. I don't have like a following that way. So I'm not going to make it that way, which is the way everybody seems to make it. But so I think if I'm just going to do it, if I'm going to have to move forward with it, I'm just going to have to do my own thing. And, what's, like you said, what's it going to hurt trying to do it? And I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I'm also doing something with Mike Marvell.
Oh, yeah.
His gut pile character. So we're trying to shoot a semi-fake reality, kind of The Office, the Parks Rec kind of style show about his hunting, his gut pile character. So
Then
we had to stop shooting that. We got halfway through that, and I had to stop because of this too. So
yeah, I get to see some of that too, and it's very good.
Yeah.
So that for sure you'll get at least one view, probably two.
That'll be good.
But I think it's important. Ben Marcon has a question for us. Have I considered recreating black and white films? Thank you for hanging up and taking your answer off the air. No, I haven't considered it. I don't know why I would. I mean, honestly, Ben, I mean, I've thought about some weird stuff. I'll tell you. I mean, I've thought about just filming myself walking around doing stuff with old silent movie music.
Oh yeah.
But it's silent movie style, you know. Yeah. And I mean, that's sort of ridiculous. But I don't know. It's I mean, there's so much stuff to do. Ben, if you got a part for me in your black and white recreation, let me know. Because I'll do it.
I'm in.
We're all in. We're all in to help everybody, I think. So Kevin, one of the other questions, and I already asked you about hell gigs. One of the questions that I want to ask you, and I like to find out from people, what was the one show, whether it was that you opened for a huge star or you whatever it may be, it was a great big huge crowd. What was the one time that you did a show, and after that show you said, yes, this makes me 100% positive that I've made the right choice in doing this?
That would probably be those Pauly Shore shows. Because like I said, 500 people, which I always heard that the more people you have, the better the laugh feels, or you get the bigger feeling from the laughter. Like, and I don't know if that's what it was, but the fact that I had applause breaks with that many people, and it just was a great show. And I remember getting done, and I was just like, this, I did it. You know, I think I made it, even though I haven't made it. But
well, you kind of made it.
Yeah,
I mean, you were on his movie.
Yeah,
it was on Showtime. You got IMDb credit.
I did.
You know, you've got the credit. I've been on more movies than you, though.
Oh well,
I was no, but I mean, you've been on longer amount of time. So in Pauly Shore, I got 6 seconds. Well, I know, but for Gilbert Gottfried's documentary, I got 4 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I marked the time and I put it on Twitter, and the director liked it. He's like, there's one more view. So I think you maybe already answered this question, but have you done any virtual open mics at all?
No, I honestly haven't done open mics in a long time, regardless when we could do it. But no, I got asked to do a show, like the virtual show, but that one didn't go through. So I don't know. I've been mostly just writing scripts. I haven't been focusing too much on trying to get gigs right now. Like I said, my wife's still working, so financially we're doing fine. She's amazing. She's keeping us afloat for the last 2 years,
which is awesome.
Yeah, no, she's doing great. But the way I figured it, I know a lot of comics that are kind of depending on comedy money too. So at the same time, I feel like if I'm taking gigs, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to make some money doing comedy right now, but they might need it more than I do right now. So it's like, I'm just going to focus on the scripts and kind of doing that. And I started working out. That's another cool thing.
Oh, good for you.
I figured that's, better myself. I tried the keto diet. Did that for about 3 days. That was, I think it would have been more pleasurable just to cut my love handles off. Like,
you didn't like eating just the meat?
I like the meat, but when you don't get any carbs, it's like you almost go in withdrawal. Like I had no energy. I couldn't sleep. I just felt horrible. Like it was just, So then I went, okay, I'm just gonna eat normal. I'm running. I lost 10 pounds.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, but
I found in the pandemic that if I don't have carbs, I get a terrible headache. So I'm usually eating carbs all the time.
yeah, and
Just to
you got to go with
headache.
yeah, and then you have to the keto. You got to go without them pretty much. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
20 grams. Yeah.
it's a difficult thing. Have you okay, so aside from writing, have you been watching any comedy? Have you been watching any television shows? Have you been binging on any series or anything like that?
Actually, we just finished Dead to Me, Christina Applegate.
Oh,
Yeah, we watched that. I think it's a good show. I think it's pretty solid.
yeah,
Other than that, no, I mean, the stuff that I've been writing, like kind of the spoofing and trying to get ideas for the movies.
yeah.
Those are the things I've been watching. But other than that, I haven't been watching them like entertainment wise. It's been more like, okay, how can I?
You're watching them for work.
Yeah, but mostly my kids watch their things. I'm watching, or my daughter's watching Gumball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she watches that all the time.
That's good.
So I watch that. Oh,
Yeah.
she finished that. So now she's on to Uncle Grandpa. I don't know.
Yeah. Dan says not a lot of comics making money on virtual gigs. I think you're right. I think it's something to do. I agree.
Yeah.
It's something. I also think in many cases, Dan, and everybody else watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for a lot of people, it's a way to connect socially. Because a lot of people that are open mic regulars and go to open mics all the time, they miss that socialization almost more than they miss performing.
Yeah.
And
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, and for like me, because I don't really go to many open mics, I don't miss that. I miss being around people. Don't get me wrong, but that connection with a pile of other comedians doesn't. It's not like that's not the one that says, "Oh, I got to do that." This has kind of sufficed for me a little bit, and the fact that I can talk with people, and I know that there are some people watching. And it's interesting, and I don't have to worry about being on the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about if I'm not funny, people are not going to like me. This is not what that is.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, as far as an open mic, I was thinking more gig wise doing that. But yeah, I mean, open mics. I'm more of an introverted person, so
Yeah.
And the other thing too is like I started doing comedy in small town Wisconsin. Nobody really taught me. I never. So really, like when I got over here to do stuff with the scene, it was like a whole different world. Now it's like, okay, there's comics everywhere that I can talk to all the time. But for me, I don't know, it didn't really help me write jokes. Like I write jokes better by myself and I just do my own thing, let my mind just go where it goes, and I test it out on an actual paying crowd, and that seems to work better for me than going to open mics.
Yeah. So when you were starting in Wausau, was there like how many comics were out there like open micing it up? I mean, because did you have one open mic a week or?
There was no open mics when I started. There was no open mics. We had a Friday night comedy show. That was it.
Wow.
The only stage time was doing that show, like emceeing it or doing a guest set.
Wow.
And mind you, before I did this, I knew what comics did. I didn't know the lineup. I didn't know. And in a small town, when you don't see it all the time, every comic that comes through, you're like, oh, this guy's a big deal, And then when I started doing it, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, we're all not really that big of a deal coming to good old Wausau. But that was, and then there was another guy that showed up and said, hey, can I get some stage time? He wanted to start doing it. So we kind of started growing the comedy community there, and it did start going. I don't know what it's at now, but
yeah,
I don't know if there's any open mics. But yeah, when I started, there was no open mics. That was it. The paid crowd, sold out show.
Because I'm trying to think of the times that I worked at Cuckoo's Nest, and I'm trying to think how many times there was a local, and local could have been anybody from Appleton or Milwaukee on in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you guys were getting some hosts and MCs from a little bit of a distance away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly it was because Bill gave me a shot, and I mean that's just the way. I mean, he gave people their chances. I mean the only way to get good at doing something is to do it, and I mean I really wanted to kind of give people shots to get up on stage, and um, yeah, we get a lot of people. I think Dave was a lot better with getting the people outside. I wasn't. I was more focused on just getting the shows and like the marketing and all that.
Gotcha.
Dave was kind of more of the guy that got. Dave's more social than me. I'm not a social person as
Gotcha.
much as he was.
I
So.
totally get that. It's one of the reasons you and me get along together. We
Yeah.
hate people together at the same time. We don't really hate them.
No.
So, all right, we've put this off long enough, Kevin. Now we have to go with your favorite cookie and why.
Oh yeah, a cookie. I'm gonna go classic Oreo. Oreos and milk. I can't.
Just
I can't.
just a plain Oreo, not a double stuff, not a mega stuff.
My wife likes double stuff. I like the plain Oreo. I don't know. I just a regular. I think is good. I'll do double stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'll take the Halloween ones on. I'll do whatever. Maybe not the Easter. Those things just don't look natural. But any of the Oreos.
I feel like Oreos kind of like trying to make themselves into the Coca-Cola of cookies because they keep making these different goofy ass flavors so they can get more shelf space. So the whole thing is just Oreos.
When I used to work for Coca-Cola, the Nabisco lady that she was there, she said people would buy the Easter ones and sell them on eBay. Apparently there's this huge underground Easter Oreo. I don't know. People buy them and you can make money off of. Not sure. I never looked into it.
So this is the whole thing. This black market eBay business. It's been going on a long time, not just with Oreos, but it came out when the guy got caught down in, I believe, Kentucky, because he went around and bought all the hand sanitizer from anywhere from like a 30-mile radius. He bought it all and started selling it for an outrageous amount on Amazon. And somebody flagged him and they caught him and they said, "You're not allowed to sell stuff on here anymore." And then he was stuck with 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer.
Well, at least he won't run out, maybe.
But the thing is, so what happens is there are certain products that are only available regionally, all right, or they may be a limited quantity, like the Easter Oreos, right? So people buy them up, and then they sell them on Amazon or on eBay for a ridiculous price, like 2 or 3 times, because people can't find them.
Yeah. No, there was a guy. I guess there was a guy over here doing that with toilet paper. He bought pallets of toilet paper, and then he would sit outside Walmart. And when, of course, you'd go in and not get toilet paper, you'd come out, and somebody said that they said, "Oh, you need toilet paper? Come here, I got some." And then they went up to the truck, and it was like $30 for an 18 roll or whatever. It's like
unbelievable.
It's just the people that try making money off this, like in this time, it's disturbing.
It's not the time to do it. I'm really, to be honest, I'm really surprised that we didn't get any more cookie votes.
The chips. It was all chips. Maybe they got chips. They went out and get chopped. They went out to buy chips, and they're like, "I'm just gonna get the chips while they're talking about Kevin's mediocre life, and we're just gonna come back and
maybe see if they ate too many chips. Then maybe they have to have a nap now."
Yeah.
My cookie, by the way, I love a David likes devil food. That's a cake. Thanks, bud.
So good. It's a devil's food is good though.
It is. Are you talking about those formed ones? Those are good ones. So my favorite cookie, it's really hard because there's a lot of good cookies out there, but my absolute, I know it's a cookie. I'm giving you crap. Good God. Fact check everything. Large Marge likes iced oatmeal. That's not a bad cookie. My favorite cookie, if I'm, what kind of chips does my sister have? I don't know. They all came from Frito, Denny. They all came from Frito. You got to contact. She's in here. She was probably watching on her lunch break.
We're back to the chips.
She's over because Denny likes chips. Don't give him. I mean, don't fault the guy. I mean, some people
Oh
like
no, there's
chips.
nothing wrong. I'm just saying we were on cookies. Now we're going back to the
Yeah,
chips.
but we reminded him of chips. Because there's chocolate chip cookies. They're okay. I don't know. I think for me, the absolute best cookie is, and you guys are going to think this is crazy, and I haven't had them for years and years and years. When I was growing up and I was in high school, I worked at a bakery in the mall down in the Merle Hay Mall in Des Moines, Iowa. And Denny, you know which mall I'm talking about. I don't know if you remember the Tiffany Bakery, Denny, that was in the Merle Hay Mall. David likes fudge sticks. You know what? I love those son of a bucking things too. It's a cookie David here was talking about. Yes. But we used to make potato chip cookies. And it was a cookie. It was like a sugar cookie, except they put potato chips in it and enough in there that you could tell it tasted like a potato chip. And they're freaking good. Keebler fudge sticks. I mean,
did you just make this up to combine the cookie and chip
No,
conversation?
I didn't. He actually made them. He didn't make them all the time. They were like, yeah, let's make some potato chip cookies because not everybody liked them.
Huh.
And you don't want to have a whole bunch of day old dead cookies because somebody didn't buy them. It's not like you want to have a bunch of devil's food cookies laying in the cart and say, oh, they got all hard.
I remember growing up.
You don't remember the bakery though, Denny? It was by that Wags restaurant or whatever it was. There was a restaurant up in the corner and there was a bakery right next to it, right up above Silverman's or next door to Silverman's, where Michael McQuarrie worked. Anyway, this is all old high school hash. Denny may or may not remember it. I gotta see. This is a problem for me, man. I don't know about you, Kevin. I remember, and David knows this. I remember stuff that I got no business remembering.
I'm pretty similar to that. I have a lot of trivial information, so if somebody says something, it's just like, well, did you know? And then I start going off about the facts behind it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there they go. They're insulting each other. That's awesome. They'll get.
I was going to say, when I was younger, my mom used to buy these, I guess they're wafer cookies. They were like chocolate, strawberry, and I want to say vanilla. They all came in a package.
Yeah.
And she used to get those, and that's what we used to eat. And those things, I think you eat so many of them, you just get so sick of them. But talking about these cookies, I think I'm actually going to go out and maybe buy some of those wafer cookies because I haven't had them in a long time.
Those wafer cookies are good, but you got to be careful. There's a lot of, first of all, well, you're not on keto now, so it doesn't mean there's a lot of carbs in them. A lot of carbs in them. A lot of sugar, a lot of Crisco. The filling is sugar and really, I mean, I know you like to just pick stuff up, but that's one you should really look at the ingredients on. That one particularly, because I can tell you that
there's not much to it. Yeah.
Yep. See, he remembers. Anyway, Kevin, we're coming up on an hour. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. For all of you watching, I appreciate it very, very much. Kevin, you got anything you want to plug? Obviously, you don't have any shows coming up. Yeah, I kind of like them too, though, David, because I made some of them. Anything coming up or anything you got going on you want people to take a look at?
Nothing now.
Not yet. Keep an eye out for.
You can by all means go on my Facebook fan page and click a like or whatever.
Yeah, do that nowadays. Do that. Keep an eye out for the gut pile hunting with gut. Cookies have carbs. Nah, some of them do. Yeah. Meat cookies don't have carbs, Liz. You can have as many meat cookies as you'd like. Anyway.
Carbs aren't the enemy. Carbs aren't the enemy.
You need to have some carbs.
You do.
You really do. Folks, we appreciate you all looking in, and thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Let's see. Carolyn, thank you so much. I tool you to the mailbox before. I don't think you're saying what you want to say. Oh, took us to the mail. Okay. I thought you were calling us both tools, which that would be a bit offensive. Well, thank you for taking us outside. David says, good times, great oldies. Appreciate it all, you guys. If you're out and on social media, if you're looking at Facebook, if you're looking at YouTube, whatever you're looking at, you see somebody streaming something, please go give it a like and give it a watch, because we're all in this together. And well, just help your fellow creatives feel like they belong, feel like what they're doing makes a difference, and feel like they have some value. Do that for me, and you will be awesome. Tomorrow, I have the absolutely fantastic Corey Adam, three albums on Stand Up Records, and I guess he's got another one coming out pretty quick here too. So that'll be exciting to talk with him, folks. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.
See you later.